All right, joining us now for more is president and executive editor at the Daily Signal, Robert Bluey, and political analyst and two-way managing editor joining us from his kitchen, Mark Halperin. Great to see you both. Mark, what do you make of the way the media is covering Donald Trump 7 days in so far?
It's kind of a little bit of a mixture of what we saw for his first term with a kind of I'd say a sense of uncertainty, just like the Democratic Party is uncertain about how to deal with this term of Donald Trump. I think they're uncertain. I think their instinct is to try to destroy him, as it's been from the beginning. There's some fascination, but again, I think primarily what I see that's distinctive is confusion. They simply don't know what to make of what's going on.
Robert, is Trump exploiting some of the legacy media, just being totally, they're rudderless right now. Now, we know eventually they will find their way, whatever way that is. But it seems like right now Donald Trump is doing a good job taking advantage of a really weak legacy media.
He certainly is, and that's a great question because you go back to the campaign and you look at what Trump did. I mean, he largely ignored a lot of the legacy media to get around those gatekeepers who have traditionally held the power and the information that reached the American people. What did Donald Trump do? He went directly to podcasters and other influential individuals on social media to make sure that he was talking to Americans so that they could hear what his campaign promises were. I love the fact that J.D. Vance went on Face the Nation on CBS and had that confrontational interview with Margaret because I think it gave the American people a window into the eye of the left-wing media's agenda. And J.D. Vance, in this particular case, just dismantled her question after question.
Yeah, Mark, again, so she made a point of saying that these 30,000 Afghan refugees, we love that's a Joe Biden word that he overused. Everybody's a refugee if you ask Joe Biden. But she knows that all these people have been vetted. Mark, do you have any idea, and you've been at this since the early 90s, how would Margaret Brennan know that all 30,000 of these people have been so thoroughly vetted?
Yeah, the interview was frustrating because what's the point of an interview like that? It's to have a tough and spirited conversation about the positions of the administration. But instead, she just lapsed into what we see far too often with the dominant media, which is she acted like she was trying to persecute and prosecute and relied on a bunch of questions that were extremely predictable. And then the vice president was able to really push back.
Yeah, it didn't work for them before the election, didn't work for them in the lead up to the election, didn't work for them with Hillary, didn't work with them when Joe Biden was the candidate, and it didn't work when Kamala was the candidate, Robert. Take a listen to Donald Trump today speaking to members of Congress down in Florida. He hinted at maybe running for a third term. Take a listen.
I've raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I can't use for myself, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I think I'm not allowed to run again. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to run again, Mike? I better not get you involved in that argument.
Art of the deal. Robert, how do you read that?
Oh, I just love Trump. I mean, trolling the left. I mean, imagine the headlines in tomorrow's newspapers, right? They will be obviously going nuts over the fact that Trump even joked about this. But Donald Trump has accomplished more in the last 7 days than I think Joe Biden accomplished in the last 4 years. I mean, if he keeps on this pace, I'm not sure he's going to need a third term because let's face it, the American people they are frustrated. They are frustrated with the cost of living. They're frustrated with the fact that there's crime in their communities. They have seen the border explode and the crisis that Joe Biden created not addressed for the last 4 years. And so Donald Trump is deliberately going through issue by issue and making sure that he's doing everything in his power. But I'm glad that he was speaking to members of Congress because he can't do it alone. He needs those House members to deliver him on the promises that he made. And that includes this budget reconciliation bill that's going to consume much of this year, I would imagine.
Yeah, Mark, Trump 2.0, calmer, friendlier, more gracious, I would say. How much of that has to do with what he's gone through? You think about the assassination attempts, experience, et cetera.
Well, I'm not sure Mrs. Pompeo would say more gracious, but I take your point. His friends say it did change him. The lawfare and the assassination attempts made him recognize the value of every day, made him more reflective about what's required. And I think part of what you're seeing in what I continue to call the ultimate mulligan is so different. He's not facing a special counsel investigation. He's not facing questions about whether Vladimir Putin delivered the Oval Office to him on a platter with borscht. So this is an incredible do-over. And as you know, it's unprecedented in modern times, at least, for someone to come in for their second term more popular than they were in their first term.
Yeah. Mark, I'm curious, and this is just the reason I ask this is you and I know each other well, and I know that you've been at this for a long time. The first president you covered was George H.W. Bush, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know a lot of these people that work at these legacy networks, these legacy media networks, personally. And I'm just wondering if you have had any conversations. I mean, you don't need to be specific about with whom, but have you had any conversations about, hey, the American people support deporting criminal illegals. The American people support a lot of Trump's policies. The American people don't believe a lot of the legacy media anymore. Maybe try to cover him at least fairly.
Well, I say to them what I say to confused Democrats, which is spend at least as much time trying to understand why people like Donald Trump as you do trying to destroy Donald Trump.
Okay. And just a quick one, Mark. Do you expect Tulsi and RFK Jr., do they have any issues getting confirmed when it comes to a vote? Their hearings are this week.
I think it depends almost 100% on their performance in the hearings. I think if they perform well, they'll be confirmed, and if they don't, they won't.
Hegseth was at 50. J.D. Vance was the tiebreaker. Robert, if that was a secret ballot like we've seen in the past, what's that number at?
Oh, my. Well, if you didn't have the pressure on people like Tom Tillis there at the end, I would imagine that it maybe could have gone the other way. But let's remember this. Democrats voted in lockstep for all of Joe Biden's nominees to the cabinet. I think it is only fair to expect Republicans to give Donald Trump that team that he has picked. And so certainly I hope that the votes are there for all of the nominees.
Yeah. Great having you both on. Mark, where are you? What? I get that it's 8 o'clock at night and you got it. You're out.
Gotham City.
Gotham City. Look at that. Are you alone?
No, I'm with some buddies.
Okay, good. All right. Appreciate you both being with us. Robert Bluey, Mark Halperin, thank you.
Good to see you both.
All right. Coming up, so Donald Trump.